In the social jungle, we're all familiar with the roaring alphas, the leaders of the pack, or the accommodating betas, the team players. But lurking in the shadows, observing with a keen intellect, are the sigma males. They're the introverts, the thinkers, the ones who prefer their own company over the noise of the crowd. They are the men who march to the beat of their own drum, valuing independence above all else. They are the lone wolves, comfortable in their solitude, not seeking validation or approval from anyone. They are the ones who choose to live life on their own terms, not bound by societal norms or expectations. Sigma males possess a quiet strength, a silent confidence that doesn't require showiness or bravado. Their power lies in their self-sufficiency, their ability to rely on themselves, to be their own heroes. They are not swayed by the opinions of others. Their compass points inwards, guided by their own values and beliefs. But don't be fooled by their introverted nature. Sigma males are not hermits, nor are they antisocial. They simply value quality over quantity in their relationships, preferring meaningful connections over superficial ones. They are the masters of their own destiny, carving their own path in life, undeterred by the road less traveled. Sigma males are fascinating, aren't they? These men who defy conventional wisdom, who challenge the status quo, who dare to be different. They are the unsung heroes, the silent warriors, the quiet revolutionaries. They are the epitome of the phrase, "Still waters run deep." Are you intrigued? Are you curious? Do you want to know more about these mysterious men? Well, you're in the right place. Let's delve deeper into the world of Sigma males. Let's unravel the mystery. Let's decode the enigma. Sigma males are the epitome of "still waters run deep." Let's delve deeper. Sigma males are not your average guys. They're the chess players in the game of life. This statement is not just a fancy way of describing Sigma males, but rather a testament to their unique approach to life, their under-the-radar presence, and their knack for strategic thought. Sigma males are often characterized by their reserved nature. They are not the loudest in the room, nor are they the ones clamoring for attention. Instead, they prefer to observe, to listen, and to understand. This is a trait that sets them apart from the crowd and allows them to absorb information and perspectives that others may overlook. Their preference for solitude is another defining characteristic. Unlike their alpha counterparts, who thrive in social situations and seek the limelight, Sigma males enjoy their own company. They do not view solitude as a negative state, but rather as an opportunity for introspection, creativity, and growth. They are not reclusive, but rather selective about the company they keep and the conversations they engage in. Sigma males are also deep thinkers. They are often introspective, contemplating life's mysteries and their place within the broader universe. They tend to be philosophical, seeking to understand not just the what, but the why of things. This propensity for deep thought often leads them to be perceived as mysterious or enigmatic, adding to their unique appeal. However, it is important to note that these traits do not make Sigma males superior or inferior to others. They simply march to the beat of a different drum. They are not concerned with societal norms or expectations, preferring to live life on their own terms. They are independent thinkers who value authenticity and personal freedom above all else. In essence, Sigma males are the quiet strategists of the social world. They observe, they think, they plan, and then they act. They do not seek validation from others, but rather find it within themselves. Sigma males don't follow the herd. They chart their own course. This is not a choice for them, but rather an inherent aspect of their personality. It is what makes them Sigma males. It is what makes them enigmatic. It is what sets them apart from the crowd. While others climb the social ladder, Sigma males create their own ladder. That's right, folks. These enigmatic figures don't just follow the crowd, they blaze their own trail. Let's delve into this unorthodox path that Sigma males embark on, starting with their inherent self-reliance. Sigma males are like the lone wolves of the human world, relying on their own skills and abilities to navigate life. They don't seek validation from others, but instead find satisfaction in their own achievements. Picture a self-taught genius, working away in their solitary corner, creating wonders the world can only dream of. That's a classic Sigma trait right there. This self-reliance extends to their disregard for societal norms. While most of us are concerned about fitting in and adhering to societal expectations, Sigma males dance to their own beat. They don't feel the need to conform or to fulfill roles that don't align with their values or interests. For them, it's not about rebellion or defiance, it's simply about authenticity. They believe in crafting their own narrative rather than following a pre-written script. Sigma males are often hard to pin down because their path is so unique. They might not show up at the hottest parties or be the loudest voice in the room, but don't mistake their quiet demeanor for weakness. Beneath that calm exterior is a mind that's constantly observing, analyzing, and strategizing. They might be on the sidelines, but they're certainly not sidelined. Their unorthodox path is not always easy, and it's certainly not for everyone. It requires a strong sense of self, resilience, and the courage to stand alone. But for Sigma males, the reward is a life lived on their own terms, free from the constraints of societal expectations. Sigma males are not trying to be the alpha or the beta. They're simply being themselves. They are the architects of their own life, the captains of their own ship, the masters of their own destiny. They don't need a social ladder because they're not trying to get to the top, they're simply trying to get to a place that feels right for them. Sigma males are the masters of their own destiny. To understand a Sigma male, one must venture into their mind. Imagine a labyrinth, a maze of thoughts, ideas, and perspectives, each path leading to a different understanding. This is the mind of a Sigma male, a place where conventional thinking is challenged, where the status quo is questioned, and new perspectives are born. Sigma males are known for their analytical nature. They are the men who look not just at the what, but also at the why and the how. They dissect problems, dig deeper, and find solutions that others may overlook. Their minds are always buzzing with thoughts, constantly processing, analyzing, and synthesizing information. They see patterns where others see chaos, solutions where others see problems. An important aspect of the Sigma male's thought process is their ability to see things from different perspectives. They're not confined by tunnel vision or one-sided viewpoints. Instead, they have the capacity to step into another's shoes, to see the world through different lenses. This ability not only enriches their understanding, but also makes them empathetic and understanding. They are the ones who can listen to a heated debate, understand both sides, and come up with a solution that satisfies everyone. They are the ones who can look at a problem and see it not as a roadblock, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. Sigma males are the thinkers, the philosophers. Their mind is their playground and their weapon. They use it to navigate the world, to make sense of the chaos, and to carve their own path. They don't conform to society's expectations or norms. Instead, they create their own rules based on their understanding and their values. In a world that is constantly changing, their ability to adapt, to learn, and to think critically is their greatest strength. They are the quiet observers, the silent thinkers, the men who understand the world in a way that others don't. In the grand theater of life, where everyone plays a role, Sigma males are not the kings or the warriors. They are not the jesters or the servants. They are the philosophers in the room. Sigma males are the philosophers in the room. A day in the life of a Sigma male is anything but ordinary. Unlike their alpha and beta counterparts, Sigma males take a different approach to life. They don't seek validation from society or strive for a typical 9-to-5 job. Instead, they carve their own path, guided by their unique set of values and principles. One of the defining habits of a Sigma male is their preference for minimalism. They don't clutter their lives with unnecessary possessions or vapid social engagements. Instead, they focus on what truly matters to them. Whether it's a personal project, a hobby, or a quest for knowledge, Sigma males invest their time and energy wisely. They understand that less is often more, and they apply this principle to every aspect of their lives. Their homes, for instance, are often a reflection of this minimalist approach. You won't find extravagant decorations or flashy gadgets in a Sigma male's living space. Instead, you'll see a carefully curated selection of items, each serving a specific purpose. Their living space is not a status symbol, but a sanctuary where they can retreat and recharge. Sigma males also have a unique relationship with money. They don't strive for wealth for the sake of impressing others. Instead, they see money as a tool for gaining independence and freedom. They are not afraid to save, invest, or live below their means if it means they can maintain their autonomy. Their ability to be content with less is another notable trait. Sigma males don't crave luxury or excess. They find joy in the simple things in life: a good book, a quiet walk, a meaningful conversation. They don't need the constant stimulation that society often demands. They are perfectly content in their own company, finding comfort and peace in solitude. In a world obsessed with materialism and status, the lifestyle of a Sigma male might seem unusual, even alien. But it's a lifestyle that brings them genuine happiness and fulfillment. They are not bound by societal expectations or norms. They live life on their own terms, guided by their own compass, and that's what truly sets them apart. Sigma males find joy not in material possessions, but in their freedom. When it comes to relationships, Sigma males are a distinct breed. This is a statement that holds true in a world where many men chase after fleeting romances. The Sigma male seeks depth and meaning. Let's delve into the relationship habits of these unique individuals. Sigma males, by nature, are selective. They're not interested in flitting from flower to flower. Instead, they seek a single blossom that captures their interest, one that stands out from the rest. This selective nature often leads to fewer relationships, but those that they do form are deep and meaningful. They're not about surface-level connections. They crave profound bonds that stimulate both their hearts and minds. You see, Sigma males are introspective and independent. They're comfortable with solitude and don't feel the need to be constantly surrounded by others. This independence often translates into their relationships. They're not seeking someone to complete them or fill a void. Instead, they're looking for someone who complements their already complete self. They seek a partner, not a savior. That's not to say Sigma males are emotionally detached. On the contrary, they can be incredibly passionate and deeply affectionate. However, they express their emotions in a manner that's often misunderstood. They're not about grand gestures or flamboyant displays of affection. Their love language is more subtle, more intimate. It's about understanding, respect, and mutual growth. Sigma males value honesty and authenticity. They're not interested in games or manipulation. They want to know the real you, not a facade you've constructed to impress them. They seek transparency and truth in their relationships, and they're not afraid to walk away if these values are compromised. In essence, Sigma males are not about the number of relationships they have, but the quality of those relationships. They'd rather have one meaningful connection than 100 superficial ones. They value depth over breadth, substance over quantity. They don't want to be just another face in the crowd. They want to be someone who truly matters to you. So when it comes to Sigma males and relationships, remember this. Sigma males do not seek quantity in relationships, but quality. They're a different breed indeed, but their unique approach to relationships is something we can all learn from. So, what have we learned about Sigma males? Let's take a moment to consolidate our understanding. Sigma males are the enigmatic lone wolves of our society, possessing a unique blend of introversion and independence. They chart their own course, unswayed by societal norms or expectations. A Sigma male's personality is marked by a deep sense of self-reliance and introspection. They are not ones to seek validation from others. Instead, they find satisfaction in their own accomplishments. Their lifestyle is a testament to their self-sufficiency, often opting for minimalism and simplicity over extravagance. When it comes to relationships, Sigma males are not the conventional partners. They value deep, meaningful connections over superficial interactions and are often selective about who they let into their inner circle. In essence, Sigma males are not your average men. They are the unsung heroes of our society, marching to the beat of their own drum.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Brain Boosters. Today we are going to talk about an interesting topic, the habits of a Sigma male that are difficult for ordinary men. So, your social media feed is buzzing with Sigma male memes and rules? And you're wondering what it even means? Or, did someone say you're a Sigma male? Whoa there. Even if you want to know something else about Sigma males, wait up. Well, whatever your question might be, this video is a comprehensive guide for all of them. Your curiosity about a Sigma male will be quenched here, so you won't return disappointed. For those who are not familiar with the term, a Sigma male aka the lone wolf is a confident, self-reliant, charming, mysterious, and introverted man. He's not ready to commit to anyone and only has a few friends in his life. He is often misunderstood and stands out from the crowd. He's almost the same as an alpha male, but he doesn't have a pack following him. He loves risks and adventures and is a self-aware man. So, if you want to know more about him, keep watching. So, what are the habits of a Sigma male that set him apart from ordinary men? Let's dive in. 1. He doesn't want to belong anywhere. The Sigma male is an introvert and likes to spend time in solitude. He doesn't want to be in any kind of group, neither as a follower nor as a leader. Within a group, he must pay attention to everyone's interests. Others will depend on him to perform according to their standards. He doesn't fancy the endless responsibilities. He's comparable and sometimes even better than an alpha. So, he can easily be the leader and enjoy many benefits. But he prefers dancing to the beat of his own drum. 2. He never tries to prove himself to others. The Sigma man knows about his capabilities. He's extremely aware that he can beat any alpha male around him. He has enough faith in himself and hardly ever tries to convince others about that. He doesn't value others' validation or appreciation to feel good about himself. Instead, he only proves his worth to himself. If he ever doubts his capabilities, he challenges himself in different ways. 3. He rebels against social norms. A Sigma male is also known to be morally gray. Now, don't assume that he's a criminal, it's rather a difference in opinions. He doesn't follow the traditional norms, which makes no sense. Instead, he violates them to test their truthfulness. He never follows rules forcibly until they have legit reasons. He doesn't want to be a good guy that plays by the rules. He's pretty much an anti-hero. 4. Silence is valuable to him. Sigma men love silence as it helps them in multiple ways. Due to their introversion, they dislike speaking a lot. They also dislike any sort of superficial small talk. However, when they break the silence, it's always something important. In silence, they can also observe their surroundings better. This also turns them into good listeners. So, if you want to vent out to someone, these men know how to make others feel better. 5. He gets women even without trying. Sigma males don't talk a lot about themselves and seem mysterious to women. Since they go against the grain, women can't help but feel intrigued by them. They want to solve this masculine mystery and have them. However, Sigma men never chase or even try to grab women's attention. Moreover, they don't even want to commit too fast to anyone. This is partly because they treasure their freedom and just can't tie themselves down. Partly, they don't want to settle for shallow relationships. 6. Self-awareness and self-improvement are his forte. The Sigma male isn't delusional at all. He's one of the best or even better than an alpha. But, he doesn't assume that he's invincible. Instead, he knows about his flaws and eagerly works on those. He always desires to become better than his present self. If anyone constructively criticizes him, he doesn't feel offended, unlike the alpha male. Instead, he's glad to have genuine critics. 7. He tries to blend in as much as possible. A Sigma man doesn't want any attention at all. In social situations, he tries to merge with the crowd as much as possible. He doesn't want anyone to notice him. He's introverted and hates depthless conversations. He usually avoids any sort of social setting. But whenever he attends them, he tries to blend in or take refuge in an inconspicuous corner. However, the lone wolf often gains unwanted attention due to his charismatic vibe. 8. He's a trendsetter without following them. The Sigma male is infamous for looking down on trends. Whether it's the new trends on social media or the latest fashion, he can't care any less. So, fitted shirts are more popular nowadays? He'll still wear his shirts as they are without any alteration. While everyone posts their achievements on social media, he won't even be active online. Since he's so different and still mysterious and successful, he always sets new trends. 9. Hierarchy is not his thing. According to Vox Day's socio-sexual hierarchy, the alpha males are the most powerful while beta, delta, gamma, and omega follow behind. A Sigma male despises and rebels against this concept. He's an avid believer in equality and judges nobody based on their social status. He doesn't cower in front of people with high status. But he's always grateful and kind to the working class and service workers. To him, everyone is equally intelligent in different areas of their lives. 10. He won't compromise without benefits. A Sigma male is understanding and compassionate. If needed, he adjusts with others whenever needed instead of getting mad and delaying the process. However, he adjusts with others only when that'll benefit him. He won't ever help others if he'll be on the losing side completely. Just like an anti-hero, he won't save the world just out of goodwill. He must see something equally beneficial in it to do it. Strengths and weaknesses of a Sigma male. To sum it up, human beings aren't ever flawless. So, even the wonderful Sigma male isn't all that wonderful all the time. His personality has some legit issues too. Strengths. 1. He's self-reliant. The Sigma male doesn't depend on others for anything. He dislikes group activity because it makes him dependent on others' performance to reach his goals. He doesn't like following a leader as he can't do things his way. So, he depends solely on himself to fulfill his desires. He also doesn't need others to show him right and wrong. Even if things don't follow the plan, he never approaches others. 2. He doesn't let others control his life. The Sigma man is the master of his own mind and he aims to keep it that way. He won't commit to a lover or take on a big group's responsibilities. He's not tied down by things, so he can unfurl his wings and charge toward his goals without second thoughts. He detaches himself from others, which seems selfish. However, this only helps him in the long run to reach unimaginable heights of success. 3. He's peace-loving. A Sigma male loves peace and silence. So, he can't afford to have any sort of drama in his life. For that, he tries to keep his circle as small as possible. He's close to a handful of people only. He understands that everyone is different and has unique perceptions. So, more people with varied views will definitely misunderstand each other and create drama. To avoid unnecessary troubles, he gets close to as few people as possible. 4. He's flexible. Alpha and beta males are pretty rigid. The alpha men never compromise and feel this sense of entitlement for being the best or the leader. They want to have everything their way. On the other hand, beta men are just too lenient. Whenever there's a clash of opinions, he always lets the other guy win. He never fights for himself and always gets the shorter side of the stick. But Sigma males know just what they need to do to work on a situation. They can be lenient and even fight for their demands and always maintain a balance. 5. He's a friendly leader. Both Sigma and Alpha males are great leaders. But most people would like a Sigma male leader more. The reason? Unlike Alphas, he doesn't expect others to follow his lead blindly. He doesn't abuse his power or treat others like puppets. He teaches others by practically setting examples. He doesn't expect anyone to know everything and treats his team members kindly. Moreover, he doesn't try to take others' credit or hard work under his name. After reading those, you might assume that a Sigma male has no weakness. Weaknesses. 1. He's a commitment phobe. If you analyze the Sigma male personality traits closely, you'll notice that he's emotionally unavailable. His guards are always up and he hardly lets others in his heart. He's also not ready to settle down, commit to family or friends, or even trust others easily. This leads to him being a commitment phobe and having troubles in his relationships later on. Even if he falls in love, he might doubt his feelings. He'll try to get away from others the moment he feels he's slipping. 2. He's socially awkward. A Sigma male is an introvert and stays miles away from socializing. He doesn't want any attention on himself at all. But at times, even they can ignore some situations and try to participate in small talk. However, superficial conversation is just not his thing even if he tried. The lack of emotion in his replies and the straightforward dry conversation without flattery offend the other person. A Sigma male faces many troubles due to poor social skills. 3. He might be alone forever. A Sigma male can't commit and is seldom ready to settle in romantic relationships. He's picky and wants a serious connection when both he and his partner are ready for it. Moreover, he only has a handful of friends and doesn't make new ones easily. He's bound to end up alone without a partner or friend beside him in the later years. After all, it becomes harder to find a partner in the older years. On the other hand, his friends will become busy with their families. He'll hardly have anyone around and might even suffer from it. 4. Luxury doesn't motivate him. The spotlight, public appreciation, others' validation, etc. doesn't attract him. A Sigma male has eccentric likes which others probably can't offer or even think about. It's hard to motivate him with anything. In the workplace, his employers can't make him work harder for their goals due to his lack of motivation. It can stunt his personal growth as nothing motivates him. 5. He can't focus on one thing at once. Sigma males like adventures and one goal at once just don't make it. So, they often try to have multiple goals in their lives. Even before one plan wraps up, he fantasizes about other plans. To add a hint of excitement and challenge, he's ready to take up multiple goals. However, this might lead to major troubles if one or more plans don't work out. How to be a Sigma male. This charismatic lone wolf has numerous strengths. And not to mention, he's so cool and mysterious and all the women want him. So, it's only natural to wish to become a Sigma male. But that path isn't easy, so let's know what kind of life you must lead. 1. Be confident. Believe in yourself and be confident about everything. Whether it's a good or bad thing about you, trust yourself and avoid feeling insecure. Act how you do when you're all alone in all areas of your life. No, don't show your vulnerabilities but be comfortable with your personality. Even if you currently have more beta male personality traits, acceptance is the first step to being a Sigma male. If someone criticizes you for not having any filter, ignore them like they don't exist. 2. Avoid being aggressive in the whatsoever situation. During crises, most people can't stay calm. They naturally react to it and show their emotions easily. However, that gives away your weaknesses easily. Any enemy around you will take advantage of you once they notice it. So, learn to mask your emotions when things go out of hand. Keep a poker face and don't let others know your thoughts. If you're extremely anxious, take a moment away from everyone and control yourself. Remember, the lone wolf walks alone and never lets the enemies know his thoughts. 3. Be friendly with your team members. If you're in a team in your professional or academic life, be kind to everyone whether you're a team member or the leader. Share your knowledge by leading by example. Don't expect others to know everything. Be understanding of your team members' troubles. Don't try to dominate them and instead be one of them. Be a reliable person but don't depend on them. Never snatch others' credit and let them get recognized for their effort. 4. Talk less and listen more. One of the major signs of being a Sigma male is his silence. He's in love with silence and even spends long hours away from others. He doesn't talk much and relishes the silence. In silence, he notices many details and can make more aware decisions. So, try to talk less, listen to others more without interruption, and keep all distractions away from yourself. You'll also become a good listener like a Sigma male this way. 5. Work on self-awareness. Be more aware of your flaws and imperfections like a Sigma male. He knows what he owns and lacks, which helps him correct himself and thrive more than others. He always aims to improve himself and never feels shy about being in the wrong. So, try to identify where you went wrong and what you must work on. If you don't know how to work on yourself, seek help from trustworthy people. Or, if you can't identify your flaws, ask them. How to deal with a Sigma male. If you're near a Sigma male, you're probably puzzled, to say the least. Even if you extend a friendly hand, he never takes it. You doubt if you ticked him off in some way. You wonder how to act around him to not get on his bad sides and so on. So, let's give your anxieties a rest here. 1. Don't push any responsibility on him. A Sigma man doesn't want to commit or take any responsibility. He also won't do anything against his wishes, so don't force him into anything and let him be. Otherwise, he might rebel too hard and do something too serious. 2. Never try to control him. A Sigma male makes his own rules. He doesn't follow others' set rules without reason. If your rules are reasonable, he'll stop rebelling when he gets the proof. Otherwise, he'll violate the rules to find the truth. He wants to know the truth about other possible ways and gain knowledge. So, don't confine him in a cage of rules. He'll never play by them and you'll be exhausted to deal with his ways. 3. Keep it low around him. Sigma males dislike any sort of noise. They prefer silence as it lets them focus and use their mind better. So, don't make unnecessary noise around them. If you're a friend and want to spend time around them, try to avoid making sudden noise. If you want to listen to music, use earphones. Avoid being too loud in the kitchen. This way, He'll become comfortable in your presence. 4. Lead the way with constructive criticism. Sigma males are self-aware, so they know they're regular human beings. They aren't arrogant or proud about being flawless just because they're better than most. They are aware of their mistakes and are always open to correcting them. So, don't expect flawless results from them. And whenever you find faults with them, never use backhanded comments. Be direct about the mistakes and suggest ways to overcome them. 5. Be fair to everyone. A Sigma male doesn't care about hierarchy. He doesn't try to be a high-class people's bootlicker. He'll never treat a person poorly just because of their inferior social status. He dislikes people who change their attitude based on the other person's financial or social power. So, mind your manners around him. It's okay if you want to play extra nice to your superiors. But don't hurt anyone just because you have power or are better off than them. So, there you have it, the habits of a Sigma male that are difficult for ordinary men. These habits may seem unconventional, but they are what makes Sigma males stand out from the crowd. If you are an ordinary man who wants to adopt these habits, start small and gradually work your way up. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.
Sigmas, what if the reason you've never fit in is because you were never meant to? Have you ever felt like society handed you a rule book and you decided to write your own instead? That's not rebellion, that's Sigma. You're not broken, you're built differently. In a world obsessed with dominance, alpha, and acceptance, beta, the Sigma male is the quiet outlier. He doesn't crave attention but somehow gets it anyway. He's self-sufficient, strategic, and unpredictable, making him both mysterious and magnetic. The term Sigma male gained popularity through modern masculinity discussions and social hierarchy theories. Unlike alphas who lead the pack or betas who follow, Sigmas operate outside the pack. Think Keanu Reeves in real life or fictional characters like John Wick or Jason Bourne. Calm, calculated, and quietly confident. Psychologists link Sigma traits with high emotional intelligence, introverted thinking, and a strong internal locus of control. This means Sigmas rely on their own judgment, not societal norms, to navigate life. That's why they often avoid cliques, ignore trends, and question authority, not out of defiance, but independence. So, what makes a Sigma tick? Welcome to Are You a Sigma Male? 9 quick questions. In this video, we'll explore the signs of this elusive archetype, the lone wolf, the silent leader, the man who stands outside the system and thrives on his own terms. Grab your coffee, sit back, and let's find out if you're one of the few men who doesn't fit in, because he was born to stand out. Ready, Sigma? Let's begin. Question 1. Do you feel most comfortable alone? Sigmas, let's dive into this. When the party's poppin' and the group chat's buzzing, do you find yourself thinking, nah, I'm good, and heading out for a solo walk or a deep dive YouTube binge? If that resonates, welcome to the world of Sigma males, where solitude isn't a punishment, it's a preference. Sigma males are often misunderstood as antisocial, but that's far from the truth. They are social, choosing when and with whom they engage. For Sigmas, solitude is a sacred space that sharpens their creativity, clears their mind, and amplifies their inner voice. While extroverts thrive on social interactions and alphas seek to dominate group dynamics, Sigmas march to the beat of their own drum. They're lone wolves, not because they can't be part of the pack, but because they choose not to unless it aligns with their values. Psychologically, solitude has proven benefits. Research published in the shows that alone time can improve focus, productivity, and emotional regulation. Sigma males intuitively harness these benefits, using time alone not as an escape, but as a way to strengthen their ability to navigate the world. In a society obsessed with validation, Sigmas stand out by valuing peace over popularity, self-reflection over self-promotion, and genuine connection over forced interaction. Their mystery is magnetic. People are drawn to what they can't easily figure out. So next time someone asks, why are you always by yourself? Remember, solitude isn't your weakness, it's your superpower. Question 2, do you question everything, even authority? Here's one for the rebels, the quiet ones who raise eyebrows just by asking, why are we doing it this way? Sigma males are wired differently. They're not out to create chaos, but they're also not built to conform. While others march to the beat of tradition, Sigmas ask who wrote the tune and why everyone's still dancing to it. This behavior isn't about rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's rooted in critical thinking. Studies in psychology show that independent thinkers are often more innovative, more self-reliant, and more likely to question outdated norms that no longer serve a purpose. Sigma males embody this mindset. They're not troublemakers, they're trailblazers. If you've ever challenged a teacher's reasoning, asked your manager to explain the logic behind a policy, or refused to do something just because it's always been done that way, congratulations. You're not difficult, you're discerning. Sigmas value logic over hierarchy, truth over tradition, and authenticity over acceptance. This kind of thinking often ruffles feathers. Society is structured to reward obedience, not curiosity. But the world's biggest breakthroughs came from people who refused to settle for just because. Think of innovators like Elon Musk, who questioned the cost of space travel, or Steve Jobs, who defied tech norms to create something intuitive and sleek. While not every Sigma male is a tech mogul, the principle stands. Greatness starts with asking better questions. Sigma males also know when to walk away. If a rule doesn't make sense or a system is broken, they don't waste time complaining. They disengage and create their own lane. That's the Sigma way. Think independently, challenge respectfully, and live intentionally. So if you're the one constantly asking why, don't let anyone shame you for it. You're not being difficult, you're being awake. You're not following the crowd, you're thinking for yourself. And in a world addicted to approval, that's a rare kind of power. Question 3. Do you move in silence? Do you ever accomplish big things and say nothing? Maybe you land a promotion, crush a personal milestone, or finally overcome something that's been holding you back for years. But instead of posting about it or telling the whole world, you just keep moving like it's business as usual. That's not being humble by accident. That's Sigma energy. Sigma males operate on a different wavelength. While others announce every goal before they even start working on it, Sigmas are already knee-deep in execution. There's a quiet power in that. Research in psychology suggests that talking too much about your goals can create a false sense of achievement. When people receive praise prematurely, their brain thinks the work is already done, making them less likely to follow through. Sigmas, however, skip the pre-celebration and go straight to building. They don't need validation. They're self-driven, intrinsically motivated. Their satisfaction comes from results, not applause. It's why you won't see a Sigma throwing a party for every win. They're not trying to impress anyone. They're focused on mastery, not performance. Think of silent achievers in history, like Nikola Tesla, who let his work speak for itself, often overshadowed but deeply influential. Or modern-day entrepreneurs who stay out of the spotlight, quietly disrupting industries while others chase followers. This doesn't mean Sigmas are antisocial. It means they're selective with energy. They know that true growth happens in silence, in discipline, in those moments no one sees. When success finally surfaces, people are stunned, but the Sigma is already on to the next mission. If you're the type who celebrates internally, who doesn't need a crowd to feel proud, and who lets your results speak louder than your words, you just might be one of us. The world may not hear you coming, but they'll feel the impact when you arrive. Here's question 4. Do you value freedom over everything? Sigma males have a natural aversion to control and structure. If the idea of being micromanaged, forced into a rigid routine, or constantly being told what to do makes you uncomfortable, you're not just being rebellious, you're simply aligned with a different frequency of independence. Unlike alpha males who thrive in leadership roles or beta males who seek belonging within a group, Sigma males prefer to navigate their own path. They're not looking to dominate others, nor are they eager to follow anyone's lead. They are independent thinkers, valuing freedom over conformity. For them, autonomy is essential, not just a luxury. This mindset is closely related to a psychological trait called internal locus of control. People with this trait believe they have the power to shape their own destinies and are less likely to succumb to societal pressures. Research shows that individuals with a high internal locus of control are better at problem solving and are more resilient, traits commonly seen in Sigma males. In the workplace, Sigmas thrive in freelance or entrepreneurial roles that allow them to maintain flexibility and autonomy. Being confined to a 9-to-5 job with micromanagement can feel suffocating. Similarly, in relationships, Sigma males avoid control-heavy dynamics and prefer mutual respect and emotional space. If you often find yourself resisting societal expectations, craving solitude, or rejecting the traditional molds, it's likely that your Sigma traits are guiding you. Your inner compass is working just fine. Question 5. Do you observe more than you speak? Ever walk into a room and instantly feel the energy? You notice the way people shift in their seats, the forced laughter and the nervous glances, all without anyone saying a word. While others are quick to speak or seek attention, you're already a few steps ahead, observing, processing, and calculating. That's not just intuition, that's the Sigma male's silent power. Unlike the alpha, who dominates a room with volume, or the beta, who blends in to gain favor, the Sigma male thrives on quiet observation. He doesn't need to speak to be heard. His presence is felt through his stillness, his awareness, and his ability to read between the lines. This isn't social anxiety or introversion, it's intentional. Studies in psychology have shown that nonverbal communication makes up over 70% of human interaction. Sigma males master this language, spotting lies, intentions, and insecurities through micro-expressions and body language. What makes this so powerful? Strategy. Silence allows the Sigma to assess the room before making a move. It's like a chess player studying the board before touching a single piece. People mistake this quiet for shyness, but in reality it's a mental download of everyone's energy. While others reveal themselves through constant chatter, the Sigma learns who's real, who's fake, who's hiding something, and who's worth his time. This gives the Sigma male an edge in leadership, relationships, and survival. He doesn't waste words. When he does speak, it's impactful, precise, and often unexpected. His insight surprises people because they never saw it coming. That's the power of calculated silence. It disarms people. So if you find yourself reading people effortlessly, picking up on subtle shifts in tone or energy, that's not just a random trait, it's Sigma radar. And in a world that's always talking, the one who listens holds the real power. Quiet doesn't mean weak. It means wise, aware, and always 2 moves ahead. Question 6. Do you have a strong sense of purpose, even if no one understands it? Sigmas are driven not by external praise or perks, but by a deeper force, purpose. This fundamental difference sets the Sigma male apart from the crowd. While others may chase applause, recognition, or rewards, the Sigma is focused on something more intrinsic. Purpose is not just a trendy word for him, it's his guiding principle, his compass, and his fuel. In a society that often confuses popularity with worth, the Sigma walks a path uniquely his own. He doesn't seek validation from others, nor does he crumble when misunderstood. Studies in psychology highlight that intrinsic motivation, the drive to do something meaningful for its own sake, is far more powerful and sustainable than external validation. This is the engine that powers the Sigma male. Living with a unique sense of purpose often means standing alone. Sigmas are frequently labeled as antisocial, intense, or even arrogant. But these are just projections. In reality, they're not lost. They're forging their own path through terrain that others may not even understand. Purpose isn't a fleeting trend or social media hashtag. It's a torch that lights the way, burning with clarity and direction. This is what keeps Sigmas going, even in moments of silence or hardship. While they may not have a large following, their impact is undeniable. Sigmas are powerful because they are independent. Unlike alpha males who lead groups or beta males who follow, Sigmas operate outside of traditional hierarchies. They move forward on their own terms, driven by an unwavering commitment to their mission. If you're walking this quiet, meaningful journey, trusting your vision despite others' doubts, you're probably Sigma. Question 7. Do you struggle to fit into groups and feel relieved by that? If group dynamics drain you, cliques make you uncomfortable, and small talk feels like a chore, you're not alone. You're just different, and that's something to embrace. The Sigma male personality stands apart from the crowd. While others may thrive in group settings, constantly seeking validation through social circles, Sigma males find strength in solitude and authentic connections. Sigma males don't need a tribe because they are the tribe. They prefer forming deep, meaningful bonds with individuals rather than conforming to group norms. This one-on-one connection is where they feel most at home. It's not that they dislike people, they simply choose quality over quantity. Their relationships are founded on mutual respect, honesty, and genuine understanding rather than superficial interactions. This unique approach to socializing stems from the Sigma male's independent nature. Unlike alpha males who seek leadership and attention, Sigmas are content to move through life on their own terms without the need to be constantly surrounded by others. They don't seek approval or validation from the masses, and that's where their true power lies. They're self-sufficient, driven by their own values and goals, and don't rely on group affiliations to define who they are. So if you've ever felt like the odd one out in a crowd, remember, you're not broken. You're built differently. And that's a strength many may never fully understand. Question 8. Do you attract people without even trying? Funny thing about Sigma males, they don't chase. But people, they can't help but be drawn in. There's something magnetic about them. It's not just their aloofness or detachment, it's the powerful energy they project. One that effortlessly combines mystery, confidence, and self-sufficiency. Sigma males don't need validation from others to feel complete. They respect others, but make it clear they don't depend on anyone for their sense of self-worth. Women notice this vibe. It's not that they're looking for attention, but their energy naturally draws people in. It's that unspoken, I don't need you, but I respect you energy that creates an alluring and subtle attraction. Men also take note. Sigma males often command respect because they don't try to prove anything, they simply are. And that self-assurance is a rarity in a world full of individuals eager to conform. This dynamic energy often leaves people curious. Crowds can't help but wonder what makes Sigma males tick. It's not about being a loner, it's about being comfortably independent. And that's where the real charm lies. Sigma males have mastered the art of being approachable yet elusive, a rare and fascinating combination. If people often tell you they feel comfortable opening up to you or oddly find themselves intimidated, that's Sigma energy. It's subtle but powerful, making others feel drawn to you, even if they can't quite explain why. Question 9. Do you feel like you're designed for something bigger? Let's get real for a moment. Deep down, do you feel like you're not meant for average? Like you're meant to shake things up, move quietly behind the scenes and create something lasting? That's not ego talking, it's the Sigma awakening. Sigmas often feel disconnected from the world, not because they're lost, but because they're ahead of the curve. While others are busy chasing trends and following the crowd, Sigmas are focused on creating legacies. They don't seek approval or validation from others, they rely on their own inner compass to guide them toward their true purpose. If you've always felt different and over time you've come to realize that it's a strength rather than a flaw, chances are you're one of the rare few who carry the Sigma blueprint. Sigmas don't fit into traditional molds, and that's precisely what sets them apart. They're the quiet revolutionaries who thrive in solitude, working on projects that may take years to come to fruition, but when they do, they leave an impact that echoes through time. Sigmas embrace their individuality. They know that their uniqueness is their superpower. Instead of conforming to society's expectations, they follow their own path, often leading others to question the status quo. So if you've always felt like you don't fit in, it's likely because you were never meant to. You were meant to lead the way. Sigmas, if you answered yes to most of these questions, you're not weird. You're not broken, you're not antisocial, you're intentional, you're self-aware. You're built for depth, not drama. For legacy, not likes. You're a Sigma. In a world screaming for attention, you stay silent and succeed anyway. In a society obsessed with fitting in, you're proof that standing alone can be the most powerful position of all. So own it, embrace it, and most importantly, live it. All right, Sigmas, if this video woke something up in you, if you saw yourself in these questions, hit that like button, subscribe, and join this community of silent warriors, deep thinkers, and impact makers. Apply these Sigma qualities to your life and start living on your own terms. Until next time, Sigmas, stay true and stay Sigma. You think you're Sigma? Let's find out who's the real deal and who's just cosplaying masculinity. Sigmas, ever wonder why some men talk the talk but can't walk the walk when it comes to living that true Sigma life? Because being a real Sigma male isn't about the sunglasses, the silence, or the memes. It's a lifestyle, a mindset, a silent revolution. Let's get one thing straight. A Sigma male isn't just a lone wolf who avoids crowds. That's surface level stuff. The real Sigma embodies independence, emotional intelligence, and quiet dominance. He doesn't chase trends, he sets them by simply being himself. Today we're diving into, these aren't your typical alpha versus beta playground antics. These are deep psychological and behavioral markers backed by real personality science. In fact, the concept of Sigma aligns closely with what psychologists call the introverted alpha, individuals who lead and influence without needing the spotlight. You'll see traits like high self-awareness, strategic detachment, and internal motivation. These aren't just habits, they're ways of life for the true Sigma. Meanwhile, the wannabes, they mimic the outer shell without mastering the inner core. So if you claim the title, these traits better show up in your life. No fakery, no fronting, just raw, authentic energy. Let's break it down. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand. Ready? Let's go. Number 1, authenticity over image. Let's get something straight. Real Sigma males don't dress up for the world. They dress down for the truth. In today's image-obsessed society, everyone wants to look the part. Wannabe Sigmas will mimic the outer shell, leather jackets, brooding selfies, and that edgy, I don't care face they practiced in the mirror. Some even buy motorcycles they don't know how to ride, just to give off that lone wolf energy. But here's the twist. Real Sigma males don't perform asterisk, they exist. You see, the Sigma male is defined by independence and authenticity. He's not trying to impress anyone. In fact, he avoids the spotlight and social validation entirely. While alpha males thrive on being seen and admired, Sigmas are content walking alone, focused on internal growth, purpose, and freedom. He doesn't need to look mysterious because he minds his own business, thinks deeply, and moves in silence. And that kind of energy speaks louder than a filtered photo ever could. Psychologically speaking, authenticity breeds confidence. Studies in personality psychology, such as those published in the show that people who score high in traits like autonomy, self-reflection, and emotional independence tend to be more mentally resilient and fulfilled. These are the very traits Sigma males embody, not because it's trendy, but because it's who they are. Real Sigmas wear what makes them comfortable. Not sloppy, not flashy, just real. Their clothes aren't chosen to impress, they're chosen to express function over form. Their fashion doesn't speak before they do, speak through action, conviction, and character. And here's a gut check. If your personality disappears when no one's watching, that's not Sigma, that's theater. Sigma males don't turn it off and on like a performance. They love it, quiet, confident, authentic. So if you're chasing a vibe to be seen rather than a life to be lived, you've already missed the mark. Number 2, silence with purpose. Ever been around that one guy who's silent, but not in the mysterious, intriguing way? More like awkward silence mixed with insecurity. That's not a Sigma male, that's a human loading screen. You're just waiting for something meaningful to happen, but nothing ever does. Now, real Sigma males, they wield silence like a weapon. It's not a glitch in their personality, it's a strategy. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. In the Sigma world, it's presence, it's power, it's control. Sigmas don't avoid talking because they're shy or unsure. They simply understand the power of timing. Science even backs this up. Studies in communication psychology show that confident individuals often speak less, not more. Why? Because humans naturally attribute more value to words that are rare and intentional. Sigmas get this instinctively. Their restraint makes their words hit harder. Wannabes try to replicate this by being mute, but here's the catch. Silence without purpose is just awkward. People feel uncomfortable around someone who's silent out of fear or insecurity. That kind of energy is easy to read and it pushes others away. On the flip side, a Sigma's silence is magnetic. It's filled with thought, observation, awareness. When they finally speak, people lean in, not because they're loud, but because they've created anticipation. That's the difference. A Sigma male uses silence to dominate conversations without even opening his mouth. He listens more than he talks, observes more than he reacts, and speaks only when his words carry weight. And that's not just charisma, that's neuroscience and social dynamics working in his favor. So the next time you see someone who barely says a word, don't assume it's Sigma energy. Ask yourself, is this person confidently collecting data or just buffering? Because real Sigmas don't just sit in silence, they make silence work for them. Number 3, self-validation, not crowd approval. Here's where the lines really blur. Many claim they don't care what others think, but actions often betray intentions. They post, they refresh, they seek likes. It's not confidence, it's dependence. What you're seeing is performative detachment. The truth? It's easy to say you don't care, but harder to prove it when your self-worth hangs on digital applause. Now let's talk about the Sigma male, the rare breed who actually care for validation. He's not driven by followers, praise, or public approval. Why? Because his compass is internal, not external. While others chase validation like it's oxygen, he breathes self-assurance. He sets his own goals based on his own values, not what society says is impressive. His style, chosen not to impress but to express. His worth, measured not in followers or praise, but in quiet discipline, integrity, and self-respect. True Sigma energy isn't about standing out in a flashy look-at-me way. It's about refusing to blend in when blending in means betraying who you really are. There's strength in that. Power, independence, authenticity. Psychologically speaking, this is called a belief that you are responsible for your outcomes, not others. Studies show that individuals with this mindset have higher resilience, better focus, and more life satisfaction. That's the Sigma edge. And here's the real challenge: building such a solid inner foundation that no one's opinion can shake your frame. That means knowing who you are, what you want, and why it matters. When you have that, the noise around you fades. Let the crowd chase claps. You walk past the noise, own your silence. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. Because when your self-worth isn't up for public debate, you've already won a battle most haven't even begun to fight. Number 4, purpose over popularity. Here's a question that separates the real from the fake. Are you driven by impact or applause? It's a simple question, but it cuts deep. You see, in today's world of likes, views, and viral validation, most people crave one thing: attention. They want to be noticed, followed, praised. But not Sigma males. They're not in it for the show. They're in it for the wannabes want followers. Sigmas want freedom. And those two don't always mix. You can't be truly free if you're addicted to approval. Sigmas understand this. That's why they operate outside the herd. They don't live to impress the crowd. They live to impress themselves. With growth, purpose, and self-respect, a Sigma's mission could be anything: building a business from scratch, writing a novel no one understands yet, or perfecting a skill that takes decades to master. But whatever the path, it's fueled by clarity, not clout. This isn't just personality, it's principle. Psychologists often refer to this as internal versus external motivation. Most people are externally driven. They do things for praise, money, or social status. Sigmas are internally motivated. Their drive comes from within, powered by vision and values that don't change with the algorithm. While others chase trends, Sigmas chase timeless values: discipline, integrity, independence. Things that don't expire or go out of style. That's why they often confuse people. Society is wired to celebrate those who shout the loudest, not those who move in silence. But make no mistake, when a Sigma male walks into a room with quiet purpose, the room shifts. Why? Because people respect a man on a mission, even if they don't understand what he's building. Being a Sigma isn't about rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's about authenticity. It's about refusing to sacrifice your soul just to fit someone else's mold. The applause fades, the trends die, but impact, real impact, lasts. That's the Sigma code. That's the difference. So the next time someone asks what drives you, remember, applause is loud, but impact echoes. Sigmas live that every day. Number 5, boundaries that bite. Here's a trait many fake Sigmas can't pull off: enforcing boundaries without guilt. At the core of Sigma, male psychology, lies autonomy, true independence of mind, emotion, and action. And one of the clearest signs of that autonomy, the ability to enforce personal boundaries without the need for validation, explanation, or guilt. Real Sigmas understand this crucial truth. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're gates that protect your peace. That's why they don't over-explain when they say no. They don't pad their decisions with 10 justifications. And they certainly don't apologize for protecting their energy. They've mastered what psychologists call the ability to express one's needs firmly and respectfully. This isn't aggression, it's clarity. Studies in behavioral psychology confirm that people who set clear boundaries are not only more respected, but also less likely to experience burnout, emotional manipulation, or codependency. Now compare that to the wannabe Sigma. They talk tough, but when push comes to shove, they crumble. Why? Because they haven't let go of the need to be liked. They still chase approval, which means their boundaries are just polite suggestions. The moment someone frowns or questions them, they retreat, explain, and sometimes apologize for saying no. But here's the Sigma truth bomb. You can't serve two masters. You can't live by your own code while being ruled by other people's expectations. Real Sigmas have internalized this. If setting a boundary costs you a connection, it was never a genuine connection to begin with. True friends, true partners, and true allies don't punish you for standing up for yourself. If someone vanishes the moment you stop people-pleasing, they were never with you in the first place. They were with the version of you that served them. So ask yourself, are your boundaries strong or just suggestions? Are you enforcing them with the quiet power of someone who respects themselves, or are you waiting for permission to protect your peace? The Sigma doesn't just say no, he means it, and that's the difference between being truly self-possessed and just playing pretend. The moment you stop over-explaining, apologizing, and second-guessing your boundaries is the moment you step into your real Sigma energy. Not everyone will like it, but the right people, they'll respect it. And in the world of Sigmas, respect beats popularity every single time. Number 6, independent thinking. Sigmas aren't rebellious for the sake of being disruptive. They don't challenge the status quo out of mere defiance. They do it because they think for themselves. This ability to question the world around them comes from a deep sense of curiosity and logic, not emotion or impulsive reactions. Unlike those who follow trends just to fit in, Sigmas stand apart by questioning the rules that others blindly follow. They don't just react to what society says, they take time to analyze and assess, deciding for themselves what makes sense and what doesn't. It's not an act of rebellion, but an act of intellectual independence. In a world full of copy-paste opinions, the Sigma's ability to think independently is a rare and valuable superpower. For a Sigma, thinking things through is the first step before acting. They don't jump into things impulsively. Instead, they process, reflect, and calculate before they move forward. This careful approach is in stark contrast to those who act out of emotion or peer pressure. Wannabes, for instance, often perform for attention or validation. Real Sigmas, however, think out loud, processing their thoughts aloud with others or in solitude, and then act when the time feels right. This independent thinking isn't just about being different, it's about being strategic. It takes courage to stand against the current, to question deeply ingrained beliefs, and to step away from the herd. Sigmas understand that this process can be time-consuming, but the rewards are immense. They don't conform to societal standards because they know that true growth and success come from forging their own path. One of the most striking characteristics of a Sigma is how they choose to spend their time. While others are busy scrolling through their phones, consuming content and following trends, you'll often find a Sigma lost in a book, studying, or contemplating new ideas. While everyone else is nodding along to what's popular, the Sigma is questioning, analyzing, and evaluating. And when everyone else is rushing ahead, caught up in the chaos of life, the Sigma stands still. This doesn't mean they aren't moving forward, they are. It just means they're doing it on their own terms, without the pressure of competition or the need to keep up with the crowd. This combination of logic, self-reflection, and courage to stand alone is what makes the Sigma male rare. In a world where conformity is often celebrated, Sigmas thrive by thinking for themselves, making them not just different, but truly exceptional. Number 7, consistent discipline. Here's where the truth really hurts. You can fake everything but consistency. Anyone can adopt the Sigma mindset for a day or maybe even a week, but the real test comes when time is involved. Months, years, even a lifetime. Sigma energy isn't a fleeting phase or a passing trend. It's a lifestyle, a pattern that influences every part of your life. When you hear people talk about being Sigma, it often sounds attractive in theory. It's the idea of being independent, self-sufficient, and in control of your life. But like any journey toward growth and success, it requires a level of consistency that most people aren't prepared for. Sure, anyone can be Sigma for a short period when things are exciting, when the novelty is there. But once the excitement fades, the difference between a true Sigma and someone who's just dabbling becomes clear. The wannabes, the ones who aren't truly committed, quit when things get boring. They don't show up when the motivation wears off. Sigmas, they rise to the occasion, especially when things get dull. Consistency is the quiet hero behind every success story. It's easy to get excited and take action when everything feels new and fresh. But true discipline doesn't make noise. It doesn't boast about how hard it works. It shows in the results, the steady progress over time, the long nights spent working, the small daily choices that build towards something larger. Discipline, when practiced consistently, is the bedrock upon which empires are built. A Sigma doesn't wait for external validation to keep pushing forward. They don't need applause or rewards to stay on track. It's about showing up, even when no one is watching, when the results aren't immediate, and when the path ahead seems unclear. The beauty of discipline is that it pays off in the long run, often when you least expect it. When you learn to stay consistent without the need for external motivation or rewards, you've already won the inner game. So what sets a Sigma apart is not just their mindset, but their ability to stick to their principles, their work ethic, and their daily habits, even when the excitement fades. They don't just act Sigma when things are easy. They are Sigma through and through, no matter what life throws their way. Let's make this clear, Sigmas. Being a Sigma male is not about dominance, it's about direction. It's not about being better than others, it's about being better than your past self. It's not about rejecting the world, it's about mastering your place in it. The wannabes will always copy the surface, but the truth lives deeper. In your habits, your mindset, your silence, your choices. If you've seen yourself in these 7 traits, then congratulations, you're walking the Sigma path. If not, that's okay. This isn't a club, it's a calling, and you can choose to answer it today. Sigmas, if this video lit a fire in you, like it. If you're walking the walk, subscribe and join this community where we value depth, independence, and authenticity. Apply these Sigma traits to your life and watch everything around you start to shift. Until next time, stay true and stay Sigma. He walks alone, yet never lonely. He doesn't seek approval, but commands respect. Why do Sigma males seem so emotionally detached, almost like they're living in their own dimension? This isn't coldness, it's clarity. This isn't indifference, it's intention. Today we're diving deep into the enigma. You're about to find out why this quiet confidence shakes the room and why detachment isn't weakness, it's power. Sigma males operate from a deep internal compass. Unlike alpha males who thrive on leadership and dominance, or beta males who follow social hierarchies, Sigmas step completely outside the structure. Their emotional detachment is actually a form of high emotional intelligence. They don't waste energy on people-pleasing, gossip, or emotional drama. They choose peace over noise, depth over surface, and purpose over popularity. Neuroscience supports this. Studies show that individuals who spend more time in introspection and solitude often exhibit stronger prefrontal cortex activity, responsible for rational thinking and self-regulation. This helps Sigmas make calculated decisions without emotional chaos clouding their judgment. It's not that they feel less, it's that they process more internally. They prefer meaningful connections over constant socializing, and when they love, it's with depth, not display. So if a Sigma male seems distant, don't mistake it for coldness. It's the distance of a man who knows himself, his path, and isn't easily swayed by the crowd. Let's jump in. Point 1, detachment is a form of control. Sigmas don't distance themselves because they're cold. They do it because they refuse to be controlled. This behavior is often misunderstood. While alphas seek leadership and betas seek belonging, Sigma males operate in a third category. They are self-directed and internally validated. Their detachment isn't emotional coldness, it's a psychological boundary. Sigmas understand that constant external influence can cloud judgment and weaken independence, so they create distance, not out of spite, but out of clarity. Psychologically, this behavior ties into what's known as self-differentiation, a concept in family systems theory. It refers to a person's ability to maintain their sense of self while still remaining emotionally connected to others. Sigmas are naturally high in this trait. They know who they are, and they don't let social pressure reshape them. Imagine life as a stage play. Most people are worried about their role, their lines, their costume, and the audience's applause. Sigmas, they're backstage building their own theater. Take a networking event, for example. Everyone's buzzing around trying to impress the most influential person in the room. The Sigma, he's not there to impress, he's there to observe, to gather information, and to decide if the environment aligns with his values. He may not say much, but when he does, it lands with impact. His confidence doesn't scream, it resonates. This isn't arrogance, it's strategic silence. Sigmas know that detachment is a strength when used wisely. It grants them clarity, resilience, and autonomy. They're not avoiding connection, they're choosing meaningful connections over shallow ones. So when a Sigma distances himself, don't assume he's cold. He's simply guarding the freedom that allows him to think clearly, act independently, and live authentically. Point 2, they value inner peace over outer chaos. A Sigma male would rather spend his Friday night reading, thinking, or building something meaningful than drowning in small talk at a party. Why? Because he understands the cost of peace, and he's willing to pay it. In a world that glorifies constant social interaction and stimulation, the Sigma male chooses solitude, not out of arrogance, but out of wisdom. While most people chase excitement and distraction, Sigmas chase clarity and calm. He's not running from people, he's running toward purpose. That's why you'll often find him refining a skill, learning something new, or building something that adds long-term value to his life. It's a myth that Sigma males are cold or unemotional. In reality, they feel things deeply, often more deeply than others. But they've learned a powerful lesson. Emotions are not meant to control you. The modern world is full of emotional noise, arguments, gossip, superficial connections, and Sigmas have zero interest in any of it. They've trained themselves to rise above the chaos and protect their inner peace like a sacred temple. Psychologists describe this as emotional intelligence, the ability to regulate one's own emotions and detach from the chaos of others. According to a study published in the Individuals with high emotional regulation skills tend to experience lower stress and greater life satisfaction. That's Sigma energy in action. Sigma males aren't emotionless, they're simply drama-proof. They don't ignore feelings, they filter them. Their calm is not weakness, it's discipline. And their solitude isn't loneliness, it's their recharge station. They don't just seek peace, they embody it. So while others lose themselves in noise, the Sigma male sits with his thoughts, builds his vision, and lives deliberately. He's not avoiding life, he's mastering it. Point 3, they're purpose-driven, not people-driven. Here's a truth bomb worth unpacking. Sigma males aren't antisocial, they're anti-distraction. Contrary to the common myth, Sigma males don't avoid people because they dislike social interaction. In fact, they value meaningful connections, but only when those connections serve a greater purpose. For a Sigma male, relationships must align with their core values: vision, personal growth, and authenticity. If an interaction feels fake, shallow, or aimless, they won't hesitate to walk away. It's not rudeness, it's precision. This often gives off the illusion that Sigmas are cold or detached. But the truth is they're just living with intense focus. They understand that energy is finite, and spending it on empty relationships or drama is a liability. According to psychological research on introverted and independent personalities, people who are more self-reliant often experience higher levels of creativity and self-awareness. Sigma males fall into that category. They are wired to preserve their mental clarity and purpose. When you live with vision, not everyone will understand your path, and that's completely okay. Sigma males would rather walk alone with purpose than follow the crowd in the wrong direction. This solitude isn't isolation. It's intentional living. So if your journey feels lonely right now, maybe it's because you're walking towards something only you can see. Like the eagle that soars alone above the clouds, the Sigma male knows that clarity often comes at the cost of company. It's not about avoiding people. It's about avoiding distractions that blur your mission. That's not being antisocial, that's being strategic. Would you rather be popular and lost, or focused and fulfilled? Sigma has already made his choice. Point 4. Society's rules never really made sense to them. Since childhood, Sigma males have walked a different path. While most kids eagerly joined cliques and mimicked popular behaviors, Sigmas observed from a quiet distance. The school bells, the playground politics, the unspoken rules of fitting in, none of it made much sense to them. Sure, they could play along when necessary, but deep down, they were already scripting a life that didn't rely on approval. This early awareness isn't just personality, it's psychology. According to the Big Five personality traits, Sigma males typically score high in, and which means they're naturally drawn to independent thought and internal reflection. They're not antisocial, they're selectively social. Fast forward to adulthood and you'll find these same Sigma traits on full display. To some, they appear distant or aloof, but it's not arrogance, it's clarity. Sigmas aren't cold, they're just uninterested in illusions. The daily grind for superficial success, the endless social posturing, the chase for digital applause, that's not their game. Instead, Sigma males are wired to chase meaning over metrics. They build lives around values rather than trends. Instead of asking, what will make me look good, they ask, what truly matters to me? It's why you'll often find them pursuing unconventional careers, living minimalist lifestyles, or diving deep into skills that bring personal fulfillment. This non-conformity can confuse people. Some see it as rebellion. Others mistake it for disinterest. But here's the truth. Sigma males aren't detached from life. They're just detached from illusions. They've opted out of the matrix, not because they can't play the game, but because they've realized the game isn't worth playing. Point 5. Emotional intelligence disguised as mystery. Here's the plot twist. Sigma males aren't emotionally clueless. They're emotionally wise. In a world that often equates emotional expression with strength, Sigma males flip the script. They've learned that not every emotion deserves a reaction. Not every invitation needs a yes. And not every connection has to turn into a lifelong bond. This isn't detachment, it's discernment. While most people are conditioned to respond impulsively, arguing, reacting, oversharing, Sigma males master the art of emotional self-regulation. According to psychological studies, emotional intelligence includes self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills. Sigma males excel in these areas not because they talk more about their feelings, but because they understand them deeply. They observe, they listen, they choose selectively. That distant aura isn't coldness, it's emotional clarity. Sigma males don't fear vulnerability, they just don't hand it out cheaply. They're not chasing approval or trying to fit in. They're assessing, constantly weighing who and what deserves their energy. You ever seen a Sigma male in a heated argument? He doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't storm out of the room, he simply goes quiet. Why? Because silence is power. Neuroscience shows that silence can actually reduce stress and boost clarity. In conflict, where others throw words like daggers, the Sigma wields silence like a sword. They don't engage in emotional drama, they transcend it. Their emotional maturity lies not in what they say, but in what they choose to say. So while the world rushes to react, the Sigma male remains a still point in the storm, calm, not cold, reflective, not removed. And that right there is emotional mastery, not mystery. Point 6. They choose depth over frequency. In today's world, where social media and public validation dominate, Sigma males thrive in the opposite direction. They don't chase likes or followers, they value authenticity over popularity. Unlike others who seek constant attention, a Sigma male prefers a few close, meaningful connections over a crowd of acquaintances. This preference for quality over quantity can make him appear distant, but it's simply a reflection of his focus on depth, not drama. A Sigma male isn't likely to share every thought, meal, or emotion online. His silence isn't a sign of coldness, it's intentional. He knows that sharing too much can diminish the value of what's truly important. Psychology supports this trait. People with high emotional intelligence often keep their thoughts to themselves, processing internally before sharing. Sigmas tend to reflect deeply, and when they do speak, their words are deliberate and impactful. Their silence isn't emptiness, but a powerful form of self-control. In a world filled with oversharing, Sigmas stand out because they embrace mystery and protect their peace. They understand that true strength lies not in being seen, but in being understood by those who truly matter. So when a Sigma opens up, it's a rare and meaningful moment, one you should treasure. Point 7. They operate outside the social pyramid. Society operates on a visible social hierarchy. At the top, you have the alpha, dominant, assertive, leading the pack. Below him, the beta, loyal, supportive, often seeking validation through group acceptance. Then there's everyone else, trying to find their place in the system, but The Sigma male? He's not even in the game. He quietly exits the stage, not with drama, but with intention. Think of him as the guy who walked out of the corporate ladder race, bought land in the mountains and built a life on his own terms. He doesn't reject leadership out of rebellion, he simply doesn't need it to define his worth. Psychologists describe Sigma males as introverted alphas. They possess leadership qualities but don't crave attention. They choose solitude not because they're antisocial, but because they thrive in independence. People often mistake Sigmas as cold or distant. The truth? They just don't perform for approval. They value sovereignty more than status. While the rest play chess for social dominance, the Sigma male is off writing his own rules. He detaches not to isolate, but to be free. His life isn't a rebellion, it's a quiet revolution. Point 8, they prioritize self-mastery. Self-awareness, discipline, emotional regulation, and mental clarity are not just buzzwords for the Sigma male, they are daily practices that define his existence. The Sigma male's ultimate goal is to master himself before attempting to lead or influence others. Unlike the typical social butterflies who thrive on external validation and networking, the Sigma invests his time in quiet self-reflection and growth. While others are busy trying to please, perform, or maintain their social status, the Sigma is often found in solitude, meditating, journaling, honing his craft, and strengthening both his mind and body. This time of detachment isn't about escaping the world, it's about evolving into the best version of himself. This quiet space where the Sigma disappears is where the real transformation occurs. It's not about avoiding the noise of life, but learning how to thrive in silence, cultivating the mental and emotional resilience needed to navigate the world on his own terms. For Sigma, this is where his clarity comes from, the ability to stay grounded and focused, to stay true to his purpose, and to rise above the distractions of everyday life. The quiet is his foundation for success. Point 9, they've been burned and learned. Many Sigma males have learned to detach because they've experienced the consequences of overextending themselves. They've been used, underestimated, and misunderstood, which can leave deep emotional scars. However, rather than becoming bitter or resentful, they chose to become better versions of themselves. They stopped chasing approval, stopped explaining their every move, and shifted their focus to observing the world around them. This detachment isn't about building emotional walls, it's about setting healthy boundaries. Boundaries protect their energy and help them preserve their peace of mind. Sigma males understand that not everyone deserves access to their time or attention, and they've learned to choose where to invest their emotional and mental resources wisely. The power of detachment lies in its ability to create space for self-reflection, growth, and clarity. By observing instead of reacting, Sigma males are able to assess situations with a calm, clear mind, avoiding unnecessary drama or conflict. Now, Sigma males guard their energy as if it's priceless because in many ways it is. They know that by maintaining control over their energy, they can continue to live authentically and pursue their goals without being weighed down by negativity or distractions. Point 10. They lead from the shadows. Not every leader needs a spotlight. Sigma males exemplify leadership in a unique, subtle way, one that doesn't rely on external validation. Unlike many who thrive on attention and applause, Sigma males lead from the shadows, influencing others without the need to be front and center. Their ability to inspire comes not from trending hashtags or media buzz, but from a quiet confidence and inner strength that radiates authenticity. Sigmas don't seek followers, they build movements. Their actions speak louder than any loud declarations or public displays. By focusing on what truly matters, personal growth, vision, and integrity, they create lasting change without the need for constant recognition. This detachment from fame is a core strength. It allows them to remain focused, immune to the distractions of flattery or public opinion. Instead of being swayed by praise, they're driven by purpose. In a world full of noise, the Sigma male's quiet power becomes a beacon of clarity. Their leadership shows that true influence doesn't need to shout. It simply needs to be steady, grounded, and true to oneself. This makes their impact all the more profound as they lead by example rather than by spectacle. So Sigmas, let's get one thing straight. Detachment isn't a flaw, it's a feature. It protects your peace. It sharpens your focus. It filters the fake, and it draws in what truly matters. You're not cold. You're calm. You're not aloof. You're aligned. You're not detached. You're disciplined. And if they don't get it, that's okay. Legends are rarely understood in their time. Sigmas, if you resonated with this message, you already know you're not like the rest. So don't apologize for the silence. Don't explain your solitude. Embrace the detachment that builds greatness. If you're walking the lone path, just know you're not walking alone. We are the movement. We are the mindset. We are the Sigmas. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join this tribe of warriors who live free, think deep, and move differently. Apply these Sigma qualities to your own life, and you won't just be watching a change, you'll become the change. Stay true and stay Sigma. What makes someone truly dangerous? It's not brute force or flashy weapons. It's the power of the mind and the control of one's own destiny. Ever wondered why the Sigma male is considered the most dangerous breed? What if I told you that their power lies not in dominance over others, but in their complete mastery over themselves? Imagine a lone wolf walking in the vast wilderness. It's silent, measured, and never rushed, yet despite its solitude, it moves with purpose, always aware, always calculating. That's the essence of the Sigma male. They don't seek attention. They don't fight for the spotlight. They let their actions speak louder than words. And here's the thing, in a world full of followers and loud leaders, the Sigma male is the one who can change the game without uttering a single command. He's a quiet force to be reckoned with. And here's why. Sigma males are not just another type of man. They are the most dangerous breed in the world, and it's time we understood why. Now, I know what you're thinking. What makes them so dangerous? Well, let's break it down. It's not about aggression or intimidation. It's about a mindset that's rare, focused, and unbelievably effective. And once you understand this mindset, you'll see just how powerful and dangerous a Sigma male can be in a world that thrives on noise and chaos. Number one, the power of independence. The first and most striking reason Sigma males are considered dangerous is their absolute independence. Unlike most people who often seek validation, approval, or support from others, Sigma males are entirely self-sufficient. This independence isn't just about being alone, it's about thriving without relying on anyone else. They derive their strength from within, creating a solid foundation that others often overlook or underestimate. In contrast to the majority who crave attention or praise, Sigma males simply don't care for external validation. Their sense of worth is not defined by what others think. Instead, they walk their own path on their own terms. This autonomy makes them unpredictable, and in a world where predictability is often used to manipulate or control, this unpredictability can be a game changer. This fierce independence is empowering. When you're not dependent on anyone else for success, your potential becomes limitless. The world may try to control you with social expectations or norms, but a Sigma male is only beholden to his own vision. His self-control and independence give him an undeniable power, making him dangerous to anyone who tries to box him in or dictate his path. Number two, master of observation. Sigma males have a unique ability to observe and analyze their surroundings before making any decisions. Unlike others who may rush into situations, Sigma males remain calm, measured, and deliberate. They are not the type to seek attention or make a lot of noise. Instead, they thrive in the background, carefully studying the environment and understanding the dynamics at play. This skill of keen observation is a superpower in itself. Sigma males don't need to speak much or act impulsively because they have already assessed the people, the situation, and the potential outcomes. Their silence isn't a sign of weakness, rather, it's a strategic advantage. By staying quiet, they gather valuable information that others overlook. The beauty of this trait lies in the fact that Sigma males often understand the game before it even begins. They see through the surface-level interactions and grasp the underlying currents of any situation. This foresight allows them to make calculated moves that can give them an upper hand. Think of it like playing chess while everyone else is stuck playing checkers. Sigma males know the moves to make, the traps to avoid, and the right timing to execute their strategy. It's this level of awareness that sets them apart. allowing them to navigate life with precision and confidence. Number 3, unshakable confidence without arrogance. Confidence is key, but the Sigma male doesn't boast about it. His confidence is rooted in self-assurance, unshakable and quiet. Unlike other personalities who rely on validation from others, the Sigma male's confidence is independent of external opinions. It's not inflated by ego or meant to impress anyone. Instead, it comes from a deep understanding of his own worth. He knows who he is and doesn't need to announce it to the world. This quiet confidence has a magnetic effect. People are naturally drawn to it because it's real and unpretentious. In a society where many are focused on projecting an image or seeking validation, authenticity stands out. Sigma males don't need to prove anything, they simply are, and that creates an aura of power that others can sense. It's not about being loud or flashy, it's about staying true to oneself and remaining unaffected by the noise around you. The beauty of this quiet confidence is that it encourages trust. When someone exudes authenticity, others are more likely to feel safe around them. Sigma males have the rare ability to be themselves without needing to conform to society's standards. And that is incredibly attractive. It's a reminder that the most impactful kind of confidence is the one that doesn't require validation. Number 4, emotional control. Sigma males are often seen as calm and composed, especially in situations where others might react impulsively. Their ability to control their emotions is one of their defining traits. While the average person may respond with frustration, anger, or excitement, a Sigma male remains level-headed and in control. This emotional discipline is not about suppressing feelings, but rather understanding that unchecked emotions can cloud judgment. By maintaining emotional balance, Sigma males are able to think clearly and make logical decisions, even under pressure. In high-stress situations, this ability gives them a clear advantage. While others might falter or make rash decisions due to heightened emotions, Sigma males are calm and strategic, always keeping their focus on the bigger picture. This emotional control often gives the impression of detachment or coldness, but it's actually a sign of their emotional intelligence and their capacity to navigate complex situations with clarity. In a world that's often driven by emotions, the Sigma male stands out as a rare breed. They are unmoved by the noise, distractions, or drama that can overwhelm others. Instead, they focus on their goals, unaffected by the external chaos. This makes them not just resilient, but also incredibly dangerous. Their ability to stay grounded and composed in the midst of turmoil is what allows them to make impactful decisions, execute plans effectively, and remain in control of their destiny. Number 5, the silent leader. Sigma males are often misunderstood because they don't conform to the traditional idea of what a leader should be. They're not the ones chasing the spotlight, and they certainly don't crave titles or external validation. But here's the interesting twist. Just because they don't actively seek leadership doesn't mean they don't lead. In fact, Sigma males are often some of the most effective leaders out there, though their leadership looks very different from the typical extroverted kind. A Sigma male leads through actions, not words. Rather than commanding others with speeches or directives, he influences by simply living out his values. His integrity, calm confidence, and consistency draw people to him, and they follow his example. He doesn't need to be loud or boastful to gain respect. People admire him because they see that he walks the walk and doesn't just talk the talk. This type of leadership is incredibly powerful because it is authentic and earned. The Sigma male doesn't force his way into the role of a leader. Instead, his influence grows naturally from the respect he gains through his actions. It's this quiet strength and reliability that makes him someone others trust and look up to, even though he never actively seeks to be in charge. In the end, the Sigma male proves that true leadership doesn't require a title. It's about earning respect through integrity and actions. Number 6, self-reliance breeds power. Sigma males trust only themselves, a trait that sets them apart from many others who seek validation or security from external sources. While others may look to relationships, social approval, or material wealth to define their worth, Sigma males thrive by relying solely on their own inner resources. This self-reliance is more than just a practical approach. It's a mindset that speaks volumes. It says, I can do this alone, and I don't need anyone else to define me. This unwavering independence can be intimidating to those around them. People who are accustomed to following social norms or seeking approval may struggle to understand how someone could be so confident in their own path. But for the Sigma male, the idea of fitting into conventional expectations isn't a priority. They don't conform to the social scripts that dictate what success looks like or how relationships should unfold. In fact, they often thrive outside of these traditional boundaries, carving their own paths without concern for societal approval. What's powerful about this mindset is that it gives Sigma males a unique form of freedom. They are untouchable, not because they avoid relationships or societal structures altogether, but because they're not bound by them. Their sense of self is unshaken by external forces, and that's what makes them so compelling. It's this deep-rooted belief in their own abilities and self-worth that allows them to move confidently through life, knowing they don't need anyone else to dictate their journey. This self-sufficiency isn't about isolation, it's about strength in solitude, and it's this very strength that gives Sigma males their power. Number 7, unpredictability, the ultimate weapon. One of the most intriguing and potentially dangerous traits of the Sigma male is his unpredictability. Unlike other personality types, the Sigma male doesn't follow a predictable script. He doesn't conform to the expectations of society or play by the usual rules that govern social interactions. Instead, he carves out his own path, making him incredibly difficult to manipulate or control. In a world where structure and conformity are often valued, the Sigma male's ability to defy expectations gives him a distinct advantage. While most people rely on established norms and behaviors, the Sigma male is constantly evolving, adapting, and thinking outside the box. This unpredictability makes him a wild card, and when you can't predict someone's next move, it becomes impossible to anticipate or counter their actions. This ability to remain unpredictable can be both a strength and a weapon. It prevents others from gaining leverage over him, which can make him an elusive and powerful force in any situation. For example, in business or social environments, a Sigma male's unpredictable nature can catch competitors or rivals off guard, putting them in a position where they can't anticipate his next strategy or decision. Furthermore, the Sigma male is not constrained by societal norms or traditional expectations. This makes him a true independent thinker, and when others are following the herd, he's setting his own course. His unpredictability is not born out of chaos, but rather a calculated and intentional approach to life. It's a form of strategic detachment from the need for validation or the need to conform to the expectations of others. Ultimately, the Sigma male's unpredictability serves as a protective mechanism that keeps him in control. It's a key part of what makes him so hard to manipulate, control, or predict. In a world where everyone is trying to outmaneuver each other, this trait gives him a level of autonomy and power that few can match. Number 8, strong sense of purpose. The Sigma male operates with a deep sense of purpose that sets him apart from many others. Unlike individuals who might drift through life without a clear direction, the Sigma male is driven by clear internal goals. He doesn't wander aimlessly. Every step he takes, every decision he makes is calculated and intentional. He's not the type to announce his plans or ambitions to the world. Instead, he quietly focuses on what's important to him, pursuing his objectives with relentless dedication. This characteristic is grounded in the Sigma male's internal motivation. While many people look for external validation or guidance, the Sigma male doesn't rely on these sources to stay driven. He's already internally propelled by his own sense of purpose. And that's what keeps him moving forward, even when the world around him seems to throw up roadblocks. Whether it's overcoming personal challenges, navigating societal expectations, or simply managing daily life, the Sigma male doesn't break. Instead, he takes obstacles as part of his journey, viewing them as stepping stones toward his goal. This unwavering determination makes the Sigma male formidable. When a person operates with this level of focus and self-direction, they become unstoppable. It's not about being loud or seeking attention. It's about quietly moving forward and doing what needs to be done, regardless of what's happening around them. This relentless drive allows the Sigma male to carve out his own path in life, often achieving success without ever needing to seek recognition or validation from others. What makes this mindset even more interesting is that it's rooted in a high degree of self-awareness. The Sigma male understands his strengths and weaknesses, which means he's always working with intention and purpose. His actions are not haphazard. Everything he does is part of a bigger picture that others might not even see. This self-sufficiency and focus are often the traits that make the Sigma male so intriguing, and at times, intimidating. In essence, the Sigma male's sense of purpose isn't just a fleeting desire, it's a core part of who he is. And when you combine that with his quiet yet powerful determination, he becomes someone who can overcome almost any challenge, no matter how difficult it may seem. Number 9, fearless of rejection. Sigma males are immune to rejection, a trait that sets them apart from many others in social settings. While most people have an innate fear of being rejected or judged, the Sigma male is unfazed by these concerns. He doesn't care about others' opinions of him, and he certainly doesn't rely on external validation to feel secure in who he is. This unique mindset stems from a profound self-awareness. Sigma males understand their worth independently of the opinions or judgments of the crowd. They do not need the approval of others to affirm their identity or boost their self-esteem. Instead, they have an internal compass that guides their actions and decisions. This ability to detach from societal expectations or validation means that Sigma males are less likely to conform to social pressures or seek approval. The power of being immune to rejection is not just psychological, but also highly practical. It allows the Sigma male to take risks without being paralyzed by the fear of failure or disapproval. In fact, this fearlessness empowers him to make bold moves, whether it's starting a new business, pursuing a passion, or stepping into unfamiliar social situations. While others may hesitate, fearful of what might happen if things don't go as planned, Sigma males are able to charge ahead with confidence. They know that rejection, while unpleasant, is simply a part of life and doesn't define their worth. This mindset becomes a superpower when it comes to personal and professional success. When you're not afraid to fail or be rejected, you open yourself up to opportunities that others might shy away from. Whether it's networking, taking on a leadership role, or speaking up in a room full of people, Sigma males embrace the challenge without being bogged down by the idea of potential rejection. In the long run, this fearless attitude allows Sigma males to achieve things that others might only dream of. Their ability to bounce back from setbacks without losing confidence or motivation is a key factor in their success. Instead of dwelling on rejection, they use it as a stepping stone to improve, grow, and ultimately reach their goals. In conclusion, being immune to rejection doesn't mean Sigma males are unaffected by failure. It means they simply view it as a natural part of the journey. This perspective allows them to take bold, calculated risks that lead to success, while others remain stuck in the fear of what might go wrong. So there you have it. Why are Sigma males the most dangerous breed? It's simple. They are masters of their own lives. They control their emotions, their actions, and their destiny. And in a world where most people are swayed by external forces, this level of self-control and independence is what makes them truly dangerous. Sigmas, remember, it's not about being loud or aggressive. It's about being silent, focused, and in control. That's where your true power lies. If you're ready to adopt the Sigma male mindset and become the most dangerous version of yourself, hit that like button, subscribe, and join the Sigma community. Together we'll rise above the noise and show the world what real power looks like. Stay true and stay Sigma. Sigmas, ever wonder why you can't stand small talk, clingy people, or power-hungry bosses? You're not crazy, you're just wired differently. And in today's overstimulated world, that's a hidden advantage. Modern psychology identifies the Sigma male as someone who operates outside traditional social hierarchies. He doesn't conform to the alpha-beta dynamic. Instead, he charts his own path. He values freedom over control, purpose over popularity, and depth over distraction. Studies in personality theory link Sigma behavior to introverted intuition and a high need for autonomy, traits often associated with INTJ or ISTP types on the Myers-Briggs scale. Now imagine this. A man walks into a party filled with surface-level chatter, performative laughter, and ego-driven games. He doesn't stick around to compete or impress. He sees through the facade and leaves quietly, not out of arrogance, but alignment. He knows his energy is sacred, and he chooses not to waste it on meaningless noise. The Sigma male doesn't hate people. He just prefers authentic connection over forced interaction. He doesn't fear authority. He rejects manipulation. What society calls antisocial, he calls clarity. In this video, we'll unpack the 8 things Sigma males absolutely hate, and more importantly, why. Get ready to see the world through a different lens. Number 1, fake people and surface-level conversations. Sigmas have an uncanny radar for detecting fakeness. It's not just a hunch, it's their finely tuned observation skills and deep emotional intelligence at play. Like a lone wolf sniffing out danger, a Sigma can sense when someone is being disingenuous. Whether it's forced small talk about the weather or exaggerated laughs over some shallow celebrity drama, it immediately sets off internal alarms. It's not that they're antisocial, it's that they value authenticity over social rituals. Sigmas are wired for depth. Conversations without substance bore them. They're the kind of people who'd rather discuss the vastness of the universe, the mysteries of human consciousness, or the struggles of personal growth than talk about the latest fashion trends. They're drawn to topics with meaning, philosophy, psychology, dreams, purpose, even pain. If the connection isn't real, they quietly pull back. You'll often find Sigmas zoning out during surface-level conversations, not out of rudeness, but because their mind is simply elsewhere, exploring deeper truths. There's a psychological reason behind this. Research shows that individuals with high introversion and intuition, often associated with Sigma traits, experience social fatigue faster when the interaction lacks emotional or intellectual engagement. Pretending to be interested drains their energy. That's why they value solitude, not because they're antisocial, but because solitude allows them to recharge and stay true to themselves. Sigmas don't wear masks. They have no time for playing roles to please others. For them, authenticity is a lifestyle, not a choice. They understand that pretending might help you fit in, but at the cost of your soul. And that's a price they're never willing to pay. In a world obsessed with filters and facades, Sigmas stand out by staying real. Silence with truth is always better than noise with lies. Number 2, authority without integrity. You know that boss who loves flashing their title like it's a trophy but can't lead a team through a 5-minute meeting without chaos? Or the teacher who insists on respect but never actually earns it through skill or presence? Yeah. Sigma males see right through that. And they can't stand it. Sigmas don't worship titles, they respect. They admire real, not empty authority. If someone knows what they're doing, treats others with integrity and leads by example, a Sigma will follow, gladly. But the second that leadership turns into a power trip, they're out. Why? Because Sigmas value. According to psychological studies, people who possess a strong internal locus of control, the belief that they control their own fate, are less likely to submit to arbitrary authority. That's the Sigma mindset. They don't blindly obey, they analyze, they question, and if something doesn't align with their values or logic, they'll walk away, no matter who's barking orders. It's not about being rebellious for the sake of rebellion, it's about protecting their independence. Sigmas understand that submission to unearned authority is the first step toward losing yourself, and they fought too hard to build their identity to just give it up for someone's inflated ego. Real power, to a Sigma, isn't about commanding others, it's about mastering yourself. They see through the facade and they refuse to be pawns in someone else's game. So next time someone tries to flex their title without backing it up with real leadership, just know Sigmas are already halfway out the door. Number 3, clingy, needy energy. You ever had someone text you 14 times because you didn't respond right away? Or guilt trip you just because you needed some alone time? That's a Sigma male's worst nightmare. Sigmas value independence, both their own and that of others. They're not trying to escape relationships, but they absolutely avoid emotional suffocation. For them, emotional clinginess isn't just annoying, it feels like being put in chains. They don't need constant validation or hourly updates. What they need is space, to breathe, to think, to recharge. Alone time isn't a red flag for them, it's fuel. Psychologists have actually studied this kind of personality. The Sigma male often aligns with the introverted intuitive type, someone who thrives in solitude and uses it to process thoughts deeply. According to Carl Jung's personality theory, introverted intuitive individuals are driven more by their inner world than by external approval. That's why a Sigma doesn't feel the need to constantly explain themselves or seek social permission for how they operate. But here's the twist. Sigmas aren't avoiding people out of fear. They're not running from relationships. They just refuse to be trapped in emotional codependency. They see life as a journey, and in that journey, each person should walk on their own 2 feet. If someone is always leaning on them for emotional support without offering personal stability, that throws off the balance. Sigmas are explorers, not escape artists. They crave depth and meaning, but only in connections that allow freedom. If a person can't stand strong on their own, a Sigma won't carry them. They'll walk alone instead, not out of cruelty, but out of principle. Their solitude is a sanctuary, not a punishment. Are you giving them room to roam or trying to cage a wild spirit? That's the real question. Number 4, mindless trends and popular opinion. What's hot today? A TikTok dance, a celebrity feud, a viral scandal? Sigma males couldn't care less, and here's why that matters. Sigmas don't follow the herd. They don't care what's trending on social media or what the latest viral meme is. While others are busy refreshing their feeds for the next big thing, Sigmas are building things that last. They're not interested in keeping up with appearances. They're focused on substance, not style. They don't change their wardrobe, their opinions, or their identities every time the wind blows a different direction online. Why are they like this? Because they understand a timeless truth. A TikTok challenge lasts a week. A news headline fades by tomorrow. But core values like honesty, discipline, and purpose never go out of style. Sigmas are anchored in those values. While the world jumps from one distraction to the next, Sigmas are grounded psychologically. This mindset is rooted in a belief that one's life is shaped by inner choices, not external trends. Studies show that people with a strong internal locus of control are more likely to resist peer pressure, perform better in stressful environments, and have greater self-motivation. That's textbook Sigma behavior. Entertaining? Maybe not in the flashy viral sense, but admirable? Absolutely. Because while everyone else is chasing relevance, Sigmas are chasing reality. And in the long run, it's the real ones who leave the deepest mark. So while the world is busy being loud, Sigmas are quietly doing what matters. They're not avoiding trends to be rebels. They're avoiding distractions to stay true. And that kind of authenticity never goes out of style. Number 5, forced socialization in crowded environments, packed clubs, office parties, networking events with name tags and awkward smiles. Sigmas would rather walk barefoot through Legos. It's not that they hate people, they simply prefer authenticity over superficial interaction. While others may thrive in the buzz of social gatherings, Sigmas often find such environments mentally exhausting. Why? Because forced energy drains their power, and Sigmas guard their energy like gold. Let's break it down. The human brain uses a surprising amount of energy for social interaction. According to neuroscientific research, maintaining eye contact, interpreting body language, and managing small talk all require cognitive effort. For Sigma males, who tend to be more introspective and autonomous, this can feel overwhelming, especially in environments where conformity and performative friendliness are the norm. Psychologists identify Sigmas as lone wolves, not antisocial, but selectively social. They crave meaningful dialogue, not the usual surface-level chatter. Give them a quiet cafe and a thought-provoking conversation and they light up. Throw them into a loud room full of status jockeying and shallow networking, and they mentally check out. What makes this fascinating is that Sigmas aren't necessarily shy. In fact, many are highly confident and observant, but they value their time and emotional bandwidth. They're wired to protect their mental space from noise, drama, and unnecessary distractions. In a world that often equates popularity with success, Sigmas flip the script. They choose depth over drama, clarity over chaos, and solitude over social pressure. It's not that they're trying to be mysterious, it's just that peace is their priority. So the next time you see someone skip the office mixer to go hiking alone or stay home reading while others hit the bar, don't mistake it for rudeness. It might just be the mark of a Sigma. Someone who finds power in presence, not performance. Number 6. Manipulation and emotional games. Sigma males have a unique approach to relationships and interactions that sets them apart from others, especially when it comes to emotional manipulation. When it comes to emotional games, like twisting words, guilt-tripping, or fishing for validation, Sigmas immediately detect the underlying motives and quickly distance themselves. For a Sigma, manipulation is not just a nuisance, it's a red flag that signals a lack of authenticity and respect. Why is this so? It all boils down to one core value that defines the Sigma male mindset: peace. Their inner peace is non-negotiable. Unlike other personality types who may seek external validation or thrive on drama, Sigmas understand that their peace and sense of autonomy are far more valuable than engaging in unnecessary emotional turbulence. They are individuals who are comfortable in their own skin and do not need the validation of others to feel secure. Emotional manipulation, whether it's through guilt tripping or trying to control someone's emotions, works like a slow poison. It subtly undermines trust and creates a toxic environment where individuals feel constantly on edge, questioning their worth and intentions. Sigmas, however, are keenly aware of how this manipulation can erode relationships. They value authenticity and honesty in others, and they're quick to spot when someone is trying to manipulate their emotions for personal gain. For Sigmas, life is about focusing on what truly matters: personal growth, meaningful connections, and maintaining peace. They don't engage in the drama that others might find entertaining or necessary to feel validated. If someone tries to pull them into a game of emotional manipulation, they simply walk away, preserving their energy and peace. This doesn't mean Sigmas lack empathy or are cold-hearted. On the contrary, they are deeply in tune with their emotions and the emotions of others, but they choose to invest in relationships that are grounded in respect and mutual understanding. Manipulative tactics, however, create an imbalance that Sigmas are not willing to tolerate. For them, authenticity and emotional clarity are the currencies that truly matter. In the end, Sigmas understand that peace is not just a state of mind, but a way of life. By avoiding toxic interactions, they protect their well-being and ensure that their relationships are built on a foundation of trust, not manipulation. Number 7. Shallow ambitions and status climbing. The world often seems obsessed with external markers of success. Corner offices, designer clothes, and the pursuit of social media fame with 100K followers. For many, these are the ultimate goals, the symbols of achievement. However, to a Sigma male, none of these things hold any real value. In fact, the flashy exterior of success can often be seen as a distraction from the deeper, more meaningful aspects of life. Sigma males operate on a different level. While society tends to focus on appearances, they focus on impact. They're not chasing the next trend or seeking validation from others. Instead, they are driven by a desire to create something meaningful and lasting, something that reflects their true values. A Sigma doesn't need the corner office or the social media fame to feel successful. They find fulfillment in knowing their work or actions have made a difference, even if that difference isn't immediately visible to the public eye. One reason why Sigmas reject the race for validation is because they understand a fundamental truth: external approval is fleeting. The rush of gaining likes or followers doesn't provide lasting satisfaction. It's a temporary high, a momentary validation that quickly fades. Sigmas are aware that this cycle can become a trap, one that ultimately leaves people empty. They don't need external validation because they already know who they are. Their sense of self-worth comes from within, not from the opinions of others. This inner confidence allows Sigma males to step away from the conventional paths of success. While others are fighting for attention and recognition, Sigmas are quietly building a legacy that reflects their true identity. They understand that real success isn't measured by the number of followers or the flashy accolades. It's measured by the quality of one's actions and the positive impact they have on the world and the people around them. In this sense, being a Sigma is not just about rejecting societal norms, it's about choosing to live authentically, unencumbered by the pressures of conforming to an image. They prioritize depth over surface-level appearances, and their focus is on long-term fulfillment, not temporary rewards. For Sigmas, success is personal, and it's defined by the meaningful contributions they make to the world, not by the external recognition they receive. Number 8, being told how to think, live, or feel. Sigmas are the masters of independence. They are thinkers, seekers, and rebels with a purpose. And they pride themselves on following their own path, not society's expectations. Unlike many who follow predetermined scripts about how to live, what to do, or how to feel, Sigmas reject any attempt to control their thoughts, actions, or beliefs. The constant pressure to conform to societal standards doesn't faze them. In fact, they thrive in it because it presents an opportunity to break away and chart their own course. Why does this matter? For a Sigma, freedom isn't just a luxury, it's a fundamental value. It's what allows them to remain authentic, pursue their own goals, and avoid the trap of living according to someone else's rules. While others may feel compelled to follow the crowd or embrace common societal beliefs, Sigmas see this as a form of mental slavery. They understand that true freedom comes not just from the physical world, but from the mental and emotional space to think independently and question everything. This need for freedom is deeply ingrained. From the moment a Sigma rejects conventional societal norms, they begin to embrace an open-minded approach to life. They do not blindly accept the "you should do this" or "everyone feels this way" mentality. Instead, they choose to question, challenge, and explore possibilities that others may never consider. In the end, their willingness to be themselves in a world full of expectations is what makes them stand out. So whether it's their career, relationships, or beliefs, Sigmas will always prioritize their freedom to make choices because to them, nothing is more sacred than the right to live on their own terms. Sigmas, here's the truth. The world will always try to shape you into what it wants: obedient, trendy, dependent, and distracted. But you weren't built for that mold. You were built to question, to walk alone, to lead quietly, and to live deeply. The things you hate, they're not flaws, they're signals. Proof that you're awake in a world that's asleep. So embrace it, protect your peace, guard your mind, walk your path, even if no one claps for it, because in that solitude is your strength. Sigmas, if this video spoke to you, then you already know this is your tribe. Hit that like button, subscribe, and become part of this growing community of independent thinkers, lone wolves, and silent leaders. Apply these Sigma qualities in your life. Be bold, be honest, be untamed, stay true, and stay Sigma. Do you feel like the more you interact with people, the less you actually connect? Ever wondered why some people just can't stand big crowds, small talk, or endless social gatherings? If you've ever felt that intense urge to just leave a party or skip a meetup, then this video is for you. Picture this. You're at a party, surrounded by people laughing, chit-chatting, and dancing, and yet there's this undeniable feeling that you just don't belong. You're not the life of the party, and frankly, you don't even care to be. You see people desperately trying to fit in, but it all feels so empty. And all you want is some peace and quiet, maybe with a good book or a cup of coffee, away from the noise. Now let's be honest, Sigmas. Don't pretend you haven't been there. You've probably had more moments where you cringe at the idea of forced interaction than you care to admit. But why is that? Why do intelligent Sigmas hate socializing? Well, here's the truth. Sigmas aren't like everyone else. They don't need to chase validation from others. They don't crave the spotlight or the endless small talk that seems to plague social events. They're comfortable being alone, and that's not a bad thing. It's a superpower. So today, let's explore 11 reasons why intelligent Sigmas hate socializing. Grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Number 1, the noise overload. You've probably experienced it before. The buzzing, the chatter, the laughter, and the endless gossip. All of it swirling around you, blending into one overwhelming noise that makes your head spin. For Sigma males, this kind of environment is not just tiring, it's downright draining. Sigmas by nature are introverts, and they thrive in silence and solitude. Unlike others who may find energy in social interactions, the constant stimulation of social events can feel like a mental assault for Sigmas. When surrounded by too many voices and too much noise, Sigmas struggle to focus. The constant stream of conversations makes it nearly impossible for them to think clearly or enjoy the moment. They might even retreat into themselves, seeking an escape from the sensory overload. For Sigmas, being in a crowded room can feel like a battle to hold on to their peace of mind. This need for peace isn't just a preference, it's essential for their well-being. Without the ability to retreat into quiet spaces, Sigmas risk becoming overwhelmed, stressed, and mentally fatigued. The silence of solitude is where they recharge, allowing their minds to process, reflect, and regain energy. It's in these moments of stillness that Sigmas can think deeply, make clear decisions, and focus on their personal growth. Ultimately, Sigmas need peace, not noise. They understand the importance of protecting their mental space and ensuring they have the time and environment to reset. For them, too much noise is not just a nuisance, it's a barrier to their clarity and focus. Number 2, the small talk trap. Small talk. We've all been there, right? You walk into a room and someone greets you with the usual, "Hey, how's it going?" or "What's new?" While these questions are meant to break the ice, for Sigma males, they feel more like an obstacle than a conversation starter. Sigmas are not fond of engaging in shallow or repetitive exchanges because they believe that time is valuable and small talk doesn't offer much of a reward. For Sigmas, social interactions are an opportunity to connect on a deeper level. They crave substance and authenticity in their conversations, valuing genuine connections over surface-level exchanges. Whether it's discussing philosophy, the latest discoveries in science, or even deep introspective thoughts, Sigmas are naturally drawn to topics that challenge their minds and align with their values. These conversations not only stimulate their intellectual curiosity, but also allow them to feel more aligned with themselves and others. On the other hand, small talk can feel draining to Sigmas. It's often seen as a necessary evil in social situations, but it's not something they actively seek out. They'd rather sit in silence than engage in a conversation that feels forced or meaningless. This preference stems from a strong sense of self-awareness and a desire to use their time wisely. Sigmas understand that real growth happens in meaningful conversations, not in repeating the same scripted greetings. So next time you find yourself at a gathering where the conversation feels more like a performance than a real connection, remember that Sigmas are probably just waiting for that moment when the conversation finally dives into something that matters. Number 3, fitting in feels fake. Sigmas are known for their authenticity, and this trait makes them stand out in a world that often pressures people to conform. Socializing can sometimes feel like a game of pretending, nodding along to conversations that don't interest you, agreeing with opinions to avoid conflict, or wearing a mask to fit into certain social circles. Sigmas, however, refuse to play that game. They don't mind being the odd one out because they're more focused on being true to themselves than on seeking approval from others. This authenticity is not about rebellion for the sake of it. It's rooted in self-confidence. Sigmas are comfortable in their own skin. They don't feel the need to pretend to be someone they're not, just to fit in, or to make others comfortable. This is what sets them apart from most people who may feel the need to follow social norms to avoid rejection or judgment. Sigmas know that conformity doesn't lead to fulfillment, it only leads to a lack of self-expression. Being unapologetically yourself requires a strong sense of self-worth, and Sigmas have mastered this. They don't let the opinions or expectations of others dictate their actions. This can make them seem aloof or distant to some, but in reality, they are simply not interested in compromising who they are for the sake of social approval. In a world that celebrates blending in, Sigmas stand out because they refuse to play by the rules of societal conformity. They embrace individuality and show others that true confidence comes from being authentic, regardless of external pressure. And this in turn often draws people to them as they radiate the kind of self-assurance that others admire. Number 4, energy drain. It's no secret that social interactions take a toll on Sigma males. While many thrive in social environments, Sigmas tend to feel drained by them. Engaging with others, particularly in large groups, is often like emptying their emotional battery. Unlike extroverts who gain energy from socializing, Sigmas recharge in solitude. They find peace and strength in quiet, reflective moments where they can process their thoughts and regain their mental clarity. This need for personal space is rooted in the way Sigmas process their emotions. When surrounded by others, especially in busy or noisy settings, their minds can become overstimulated. Over time, this overstimulation can lead to emotional fatigue. It's a stark contrast to how extroverts function. Where social interactions fuel their energy, Sigmas tend to feel drained after extended periods of socializing. What makes the Sigma experience even more unique is their heightened awareness of their energy. They deeply value their inner peace and well-being. For them, spending time alone is essential, not just for recharging, but also for maintaining emotional balance. It allows them to reflect, analyze their experiences, and regain their focus. Without enough alone time, Sigmas can feel irritable or overwhelmed. This is why many Sigma males avoid large social gatherings or any situation that demands excessive interaction. They prefer intimate settings, one-on-one conversations, or quiet activities that allow them to stay grounded. It's not about rejecting social connection. It's about ensuring they preserve their energy and emotional health. For a Sigma, solitude isn't a sign of loneliness. It's an essential practice to stay at their best. Understanding this need for solitude can help others respect and appreciate the balance that Sigmas strive to maintain. Number 5, lack of depth in social interactions. How many times have you found yourself sitting in a room full of people, caught in conversations about the latest trends, celebrity gossip, or trivial drama? It's easy to feel disconnected in such situations. For many, it can be a mind-numbing experience. Sigmas, however, don't share the same enthusiasm for shallow banter. They're not here for small talk. Instead, they crave conversations that engage their minds and spark deeper thoughts. Sigmas are naturally drawn to meaningful discussions that challenge their intellect. Whether it's philosophy, psychology, or thought-provoking ideas, these are the types of exchanges that excite them. They prefer to explore topics that stretch their understanding, broaden their perspectives, and push the boundaries of their knowledge. To a Sigma, anything less feels like a waste of time. They're not interested in conversations that skim the surface. They want to dive deep into subjects that offer new insights and provoke critical thinking. This preference stems from the Sigma's unique approach to life. While others may enjoy the comfort of familiar, shallow exchanges, Sigmas find fulfillment in discussions that allow them to grow mentally and emotionally. It's not about keeping up with the latest gossip or fitting in with the crowd. It's about finding value in every interaction. Conversations with Sigmas are often rich with ideas, questions, and perspectives that stimulate growth. They believe that true connection happens when people engage at a deeper level, and that's the kind of connection they seek, one that challenges them, inspires them, and leaves them thinking long after the conversation ends. So the next time you're with a Sigma, don't be surprised if they steer the conversation toward topics that make you think. For them, that's where the real value lies. Number 6, judging the social hierarchy. Sigmas have a unique ability to see through the games people play to gain social status. In social situations, they can immediately recognize the subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, power plays happening around them. Whether it's someone subtly trying to one-up another, bragging about their achievements, or using connections to manipulate situations, Sigmas are keenly aware of these dynamics. Unlike others who might feel compelled to engage in these behaviors, Sigmas simply observe. What sets Sigmas apart is their indifference to the concept of social status. While others often hustle to climb the social ladder, Sigmas don't feel the need to play the game. They're not driven by the desire for validation or approval from others. This lack of concern for social ranking often creates a sense of disconnection in social settings. While others jockey for position, Sigmas stand apart, comfortable in their own skin and uninterested in the approval of the crowd. This detachment from the social hierarchy makes Sigmas incredibly self-reliant and emotionally independent. They are less affected by societal pressures or judgments because they don't derive their sense of worth from social acceptance. Instead, they focus on personal growth, inner peace, and meaningful connections, which they value far more than status or accolades. In a world where social games often define interactions, Sigmas stand as a reminder that true worth comes from within, not from climbing an artificial ladder. They see social hierarchy for what it is, a game they don't need to play. Their ability to stay grounded and detached from these superficial dynamics is one of the defining traits that make them so intriguing. Number 7, the fear of being misunderstood. Sigmas are often seen as the lone wolves of society, standing apart from conventional social norms. They are independent thinkers whose ideas, emotions, and perspectives tend to be deeper and more complex than most people realize. This makes them unique, but it also means they may face challenges in social interactions. Sigmas often perceive the world differently, and when they try to communicate their thoughts in social settings, their deeper, more introspective nature may be misunderstood. In social environments, Sigmas risk being misinterpreted. Their preference for solitude or selective socializing can lead others to view them as distant or even rude, even though this is far from the truth. Sigmas do not seek constant validation from others. Their confidence comes from their own thoughts and values, which is why they don't feel the need to explain themselves. For this reason, they may avoid social events that require conformity, preferring to stay true to themselves and build meaningful connections. Number 8, the need for personal space. Sigma. Males cherish their personal space, valuing solitude as an essential part of their lifestyle. For them, it's not about being antisocial or avoiding interaction, but rather about creating room for personal growth and reflection, whether it's a quiet corner in their home or a secluded spot in a park. These spaces are their sanctuaries. They thrive when they can disconnect from the noise of the world and focus inwards. Socializing can sometimes feel like an intrusion on this sacred space. Sigmas are not typically fans of crowded gatherings or forced interactions, especially when it means compromising their ability to recharge and process their thoughts. For them, time alone is crucial to maintain balance and clarity. This need for personal space is also tied to their ability to grow and reflect. Without the constant external influence of others, Sigmas can dig deeper into their own thoughts, explore their ideas, and cultivate their sense of self. It's through this solitude that they come to understand the world around them and their place in it. So while they may seem distant at times, it's not about isolation. It's about creating the mental space to evolve and be true to themselves. Number 9, inability to relate to superficial lifestyles. Sigma males often find themselves at odds with the superficial aspects of society. While many people place great value on material possessions, the latest trends and social events, Sigmas tend to care very little about these things. Their focus is primarily on personal growth, knowledge, and pursuing meaningful endeavors that align with their values. For them, it's not about keeping up with the latest fashion or attending the hottest parties. It's about constantly striving to better themselves. This disconnect often leaves Sigmas feeling out of place in social settings, where conversations revolve around the next trend or status symbol. Instead, they gravitate toward deeper, more purposeful discussions, seeking to learn, grow, and contribute to causes that matter. Their mindset is driven by a sense of purpose, not the fleeting excitement that others chase. In essence, Sigmas are motivated by internal fulfillment, not external validation. Number 10, emotional disconnect. Sigmas are known for their high emotional intelligence, but this doesn't mean they connect with everyone emotionally. In fact, they tend to keep their emotions guarded, which can create a sense of emotional distance from others. This isn't because they're incapable of forming deep connections. It's more about their preference to avoid emotionally draining interactions. While many people might interpret this emotional distance as aloofness or coldness, Sigmas simply prioritize their emotional well-being. They are selective about who they open up to, choosing only those who bring positivity and emotional balance into their lives. By setting boundaries and protecting their emotional energy, Sigmas maintain a level of emotional clarity that helps them navigate relationships more effectively. This approach allows them to conserve their inner peace, ensuring they don't become overwhelmed by unnecessary emotional turbulence. It's not about being distant, it's about being intentional with who and what they invest their energy in. Number 11, fear of losing their identity. Sigmas understand the importance of preserving their sense of self in a world that often pressures people to conform. They recognize that excessive socializing, trying to please others, or constantly adapting to social norms can gradually diminish their authenticity. By putting themselves in social situations where they feel they have to fit in, they fear losing their true identity. This is why Sigmas are very selective about the interactions they engage in. They seek solitude or environments that allow them to recharge and stay connected to their core values. Being constantly surrounded by societal expectations can create internal noise, making it harder to focus on personal goals and desires. Sigmas intentionally avoid this by guarding their individuality and nurturing their personal space. They value self-reliance, introspection, and independence, ensuring that their identity remains intact despite external pressures. For Sigmas, being true to themselves is a non-negotiable aspect of life. Sigmas, I hope this video gave you some insight into why intelligent Sigmas often avoid socializing. It's not that we hate people, it's just that we're not willing to sacrifice our time, energy, or identity for superficial connections.